Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So this phone right here is blowing up in a lot of places on the internet. This is a Redmi 5 Plus and it is very popular right now because of what it offers for 200 bucks. Now disclaimer, I want to start this video off like this because a lot of people have been posting comments on other videos when I post on this phone saying, oh, you're giving out inaccurate information. First things first, network. This phone will give you 3G, 3.5G, depending on where you are. These phones register only 4G for the signal. You go into the settings, you select LTE, your carrier, APN settings, whatever you need to put in, you'll get the fastest speeds that's being offered. So, with that being said, where I live at, I'm able to get 3G/4G in some areas where I'm at. So, for the people that have continuously posted that this phone doesn't work in the US properly, it's not made for the US, but it does work. I don't know how many times I can say this. That's like the number one question people ask. Does it work with AT&T? Does it work with... Yes, but it depends on where you live. So when you hit the links in the description, you're not going to see the bands on there. Pay attention to the video before you start leaving comments, asking questions. Ask questions as you go along, or just watch the video and then watch it again and scan for things that I might have missed and you have a question on it, because in most cases I've already talked about the network. So this phone is not meant and designed for the US, but it works in the US. You won't get LTE, but you'll get 3G/3G, 3.5G. You'll get fast enough speeds for wherever you are. Depends on where you live and what network you're on. So that is that. Now, let me tell you what I think could be a con for a lot of people. I'm not saying this is a con for me, but let me tell you what some people might point out as a con. And the first thing is the network, not being able to get LTE. But my rebuttal to that is that most of you guys are on Wi-Fi anyway. And I know this because I ask, what about this in conversations on forums and on my YouTube videos? Oh, I'm on Wi-Fi. I like to stay on Wi-Fi because you get better battery life. This one right here, it could possibly be a con because when you leave your house, you won't get LTE. You'll get 3.5G, depending on where you live. The bands listed are not all there, but there are bands in here that work in the US because I'm using it right here in the US. So, the network, that could be a possible con for you. Next, micro USB 2.0. Some people are going to say this is a con. I don't know why, but it still has quick charge. This has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery inside of this little thin phone, and it still has quick charge. It took me about an hour and 57 minutes to get this back to 100. Which isn't bad considering it has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery inside. You got to consider that. So some people might say that's a con. Now, after that, I couldn't think of any other things that a person might say as a con. This video, try to be as objective as possible, but some things are subjective. Now, let's start with the battery life, since I was just talking about that. I'm able to get 10.5 hours of screen on time out of this phone in almost 2 days of usage. I've been pushing this thing really hard and it just won't die like when I try to push it real hard and make it die within a day. It's just not happening. The battery life on this thing is absolutely fantastic, folks. So if you can get past some of the first two things that I named, which some might consider a con, which I don't think the charging port is a con because it does have quick charging, but the network, most people are on Wi-Fi anyway. So this battery life is killer. And I know it's better than your phone you're currently using, more than likely. I'm not saying that's a fact, but most people are not getting 10.5 hours of screen on time in almost 2 days of usage. As a matter of fact, I think I was looking on Twitter and Grant S, shout out to Grant S, he has one too, and he banged out 3 days almost and got like 7 hours of screen on time. So check the reviews on this phone. If you don't trust mine or you're just stopping by for your first time, I haven't seen any bad reviews on the battery life of this phone. Not one. I haven't heard anybody say that they got bad battery life. Just hasn't happened yet. I haven't seen it yet. Now, battery, that's a check mark and a half. That is just beautiful battery life. Next is the screen. This is a 5.99 inch screen, 6 inches. So the screen is absolutely great. It is great. It's 1080p. It's good for watching movies and everything. But another possible con is the speaker on the bottom. Now, while it's not the worst speaker, is definitely you need to put it at max volume in order to get that great quality sound. Put it to peak volume and there's not really any distortion at all, and then it really gets loud. It gets the volume is there between 80 and 100, and because you crank it down under that, it's kind of like it's not even really there. So that could possibly be a con for somebody, but I just turn the volume up and then I hear great sound to go with this great 1080p 18:9 ratio screen. And it's just super gorgeous. So I left the matte screen protector on here because I didn't want to buy another screen protector. But still, look at how beautiful the screen is. It's absolutely great. Another thing are the cameras on here. The cameras on this phone absolutely shine. I've done a video review of the cameras, and I just didn't have any complaints. I was super happy with the footage that came from this phone. I compared these cameras against the Mi A1. And yeah, it was a night video. You know, I think I had one studio light going or something like that. Either way, both phones had their opportunity to shine, and I think this phone unfortunately outshined the Mi A1 in that scenario. Now I'll do it again in the daylight, you know, or something like that. But these cameras on this phone are absolutely great. You will not be upset, and it's just fantastic. Other than that, folks, you got an IR blaster, you've got a headphone jack, you've got a rear-mounted fingerprint reader, you've got dual-tone LED flash, you got cameras on the front. It's just great. Build quality is the last thing I want to talk about because this build quality is absolutely great in my opinion. It's like a mix between the OnePlus and an iPhone 7 Plus. It's absolutely great, man. So imagine the OnePlus 5T's build quality and mix it with an iPhone 7 Plus, really, really close mix in the bag. It's great. I don't have very many complaints. Yeah, so those three cons that I kind of think could be considered a con. The main one being the network. Some people might be so concerned about that, but I know people have already bought this phone and got it and say they love it. And then you've got that speaker and you've got the micro USB. Other than that, I mean, some of your big time flagships don't even have a headphone jack, and they definitely don't have an IR blaster. So you be the judge. The best part about this phone, $199. $199. Premium hardware, premium screen, premium cameras, just a lot of high-end features for $200. Big jumbo battery, all-day battery. You can definitely, and I'm a heavy user, so you can definitely probably take this phone out and use it for full 5 days straight, depending on how you use your phone. It will definitely work, even longer probably. So it's your man Jay Will, full review for the Redmi 5 Plus. This thing is a boss, and I definitely recommend it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.